If you're watching, don't say, oh my god, what is she doing? So, I am back again with another baking tutorial. Sure, call it a tutorial. Anyways, today I believe I am going to be making cheesecake. Eggless cheesecake. This is my first time making it. We're about to have some fun. I will, however, for this recipe or this product, I will give you the recipe, the steps, and all that good stuff of how I made it. But keep in mind, this is my first time making it. And I like to just put a little dash of something, a sprinkle of something here. So if you're watching, don't say, oh my god, what is she doing? Just watch it, okay? It'll be good, I promise. Guys, so like with any recipe that I do, I scale all my ingredients. So this is my flour, it's unsifted, and this is my butter and my sugar. I put a little cinnamon in there just for added flavor, but you know, you can do whatever you want to do. I just like to put a dash of something, a splash of something here and there. So what I'm about to do is I am going to cream the butter and the sugar together until it's light and fluffy for me. I'm not making a cake, but think about when you're making a cake. You want it to be nice and creamy. Once that's done, I am going to sift the flour into this mixture, mix it just a little more, and see what we get. This is my first time making it, so we are going to be pleasantly surprised. I attached my paddle attachment because that's what I'm going to use to cream my butter and my sugar. But what I will say is make sure your butter is at room temperature. It just makes it a lot easier. Don't be like me. I just took my butter out of the fridge because I forgot to take it out. So I'm about to start and we are going to cream. This might take a little longer only because my butter is a bit cold. So we'll see what happens. As you can see, the sugar is incorporated in the butter. It's still clumpy, but now I'm going to turn the speed up and let's go. So just for a bit, just to show you what my mixture looks like. This is because my butter is really cold still. So it completely clumped up, and I see that sometimes with brown sugar it does do that until you just cream it, and it'll get really smooth. I'm going to do it a little bit more because I need a smoother texture just for my preference because I'm testing this recipe. So we are going to do it some more and we're going to see what happens. So this is what we have after creaming it for about 5-10 minutes. And I think I'm good with this. I'm going to do it for maybe 2 more minutes. And then I'm going to add the flour. So once we've creamed it, what we're going to do is we're going to scrape. I'm going to try my best to do this. You know, I'm still using one hand, but that's okay. We're going to scrape it down, bring everything to the center. I think this is creamy enough. So I am going to now sift my flour into this mixture and just mix it just a little bit to combine. It should look like a course meal, but it might clump up. I don't know. We're about to find out. My sifter is ready. As you can see, I am going to sift my flour into this mixture, and I'm going to use the paddle again just for a few seconds, just to make sure everything is combined, and we will see what we get. Flour is in, everything is ready to go. I am going to do it on slow or low, a low speed, because I do not want flour splashing all over me. So let's see. We're just going to do this for a bit. And I'm going to watch it to see what level of combination I want. And then we will put it in our pan. So it is becoming a meal type texture, which could have, the same way we did the pie, not we, but I did the pie. We could have done the same exact thing. But I think for this one, you want the butter to be a bit softer so you can press it into the pan, which is why I'm doing it that way. But we will see. Okay. So this is the consistency. I think I just went a little too much, but this is the consistency that we have now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this from the mixing bowl, and I'm gonna press it into our prepared pan. So I am preparing the pan. I'm gonna spray it with a little cooking spray. That's just because I want to. This is our experiment, and we are about to find out what happens. So I'm just spraying. That's a little light. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to press, let me just move this over. I am going to press this into this, and I actually want the crust to come all the way up, not just the bottom crust. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. See, I already started to press, so I'm just going to add, and I am going to press until I'm happy with the consistency of the bottom. Make it even enough, and then I'm going to go around the side. I don't know if I have enough, but we will be surprised. But this is what it looks like. I just wanted to give you a close-up of what I did. As you can see my little fingerprints or whatever. But I pressed it in, I brought it up to the side as much as possible. I made it as even as possible. Made sure that there were no real chunks and lumps. So now, I really hope it works. I'm gonna pop it in the oven for about 5-10 minutes. And I am gonna put my oven at a high heat and then reduce it. So I'm gonna start at 400. I didn't preheat it yet, but I'm going to preheat it at 400. And then once I'm ready, I'm gonna put this baby in for about 5-10 minutes, just so that, you know, it can partially cook. And once the filling is ready, I will pour it back in. I mean, obviously, once this is cooled, I will pour the filling in this and put it back in the oven and bake until complete. Is this gonna work? I don't know, but we are going to find out. This base looked like, I just took it out of the oven. It was in for about 10 minutes. I can already tell that the bottom is a bit too thick, but there's not much I can do about it right now. So I'm just going to, I think I'm going to put it back just a little bit more because, you know, the edges started to bake, but I already feel it. The bottom is too thick. So although it'll have a lot of filling, I don't like a thick bottom crust for my cheesecake. So that's one disappointment for me already. But I know it's going to taste good. I'm just going to put it back in for about 5 more minutes. So that would be a total of 15 minutes. And then once the filling is ready, I mean, obviously I have to cool this down. So I might pop it in the freezer really quickly to cool it down. And then once the filling is ready, we're going to pour it in here and we're going to bake. Hopefully it works. While I wait for my oven to preheat, I went ahead and I scaled my ingredients for the filling. Now, like I said, this is eggless. I'm not following a particular recipe. I'm just going off the top of my head to see what works because I'm testing recipes and I love testing recipes and I like creating. So here we have condensed milk, and I added my vanilla extract. So you see the vanilla beans in there. So I just added my vanilla extract in here. Here we have the cream cheese, which is 2 packages of it. Here I have some lemon juice and I have some cream. I'm debating if I'm going to add the cream to this mixture. I don't know yet. So I will know when I see the consistency of the mixture. Some people call this a no bake, but I tend to bake mine because I add extra liquid. Sometimes I add purees, but since this is going to be a plain cheesecake, I want to see what the texture is going to be with just the cream cheese and the condensed milk with the lemon juice. And if I'm not satisfied, I'm going to add the cream. I'm not going to whip it. I'm just going to add it. So here we go. So in this step, I am going to cream the cream cheese. Yes, I'm going to cream it until it's light and fluffy. So this may take about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the speed of your mixer. So I'm going to start and we're going to cream. It also helps if your cream cheese is at room temperature. It just speeds up the process faster. It really starts to look like it's creamy. but I like things nice and fluffy, so we're gonna cream for a while. And it's also important to know that while you're creaming, you stop after a while and scrape down, incorporate everything, and then continue to cream. So I'll do that over the period of the next 5-10 minutes. So I'm just testing to see. Oh, it's not ready yet. It's still a little thick. When it's nice and fluffy, it'll be light. So I'm just brushing it down just a bit, and then I will begin to mix it up all over again. Ready, and we're gonna just whip it up some more until it's nice and fluffy. While this is happening, you can tidy up. You can do a lot of different things, but this is what I'm doing at the moment. Okay, so our cream cheese is getting there. It's lighter than what it was before. So I'm going to do it for about 5 more minutes, and then we will add the condensed milk and the vanilla. Do you hear that slapping sound? Like, listen. That's how you know your mixture is nice and creamy. It starts to slap and you see the textures changing as you go. So I'm going to do this for a few minutes, not long, because I just put it on. So maybe 3 more minutes. I do have my timer going, so 3 more minutes, and then I'll take it off and add my condensed milk. The mixture is ready. The cream cheese is as fluffy as I want it to be. And I am going to pour the vanilla and the condensed milk. Now, what the final texture is going to be like, I don't know. We're going to be surprised and we're going to have fun. But the one thing I know, it's going to be delicious. Like, who doesn't like cream cheese or condensed milk? And together, they're delicious. So, my condensed milk is now in with the cream cheese, and I am going to mix together. I don't know. We're going to pray. We are going to pray because you never know. Anytime I bake, you know, it's always good. Something goes wrong. It is what it is, but that's the fun part about experimenting. You get to see what you make. And today, we're making something. Just wanted to show you how smooth my filling is. I'm going to scrape it down. Then I'm going to add my lemon juice. But this is what it looks like. It's a bit smooth right now. I'm going to mix it in some more. And I might even add more vanilla. Who knows? I'm going to taste it though, but we'll see. Important to scrape the bottom and around of your bowl while you're mixing it, because you'll still have clumps. Like, as you can see, I still have some clumps in here. Like, look at that big one right here. So I'm gonna go back with my paddle and just mix it in some more. I haven't used a whisk. I'm pretty sure if you use a whisk here, it'll still be fine. But I'm just gonna stick to my paddle since I started with my paddle, and we'll see what the results are. It's an experiment. I'm gonna add the lemon juice at this phase, just because, you know, I want to. Ooh, it's splashing. Obviously, because it's on high, but yes, I'm gonna turn it down just a bit. And just add the rest of the lemon juice. I'm telling you, this is an experiment, boy. And now we mix. I honestly believe I'm gonna add the cream just because I already scaled it, so why not? What's the worst that could happen? Whatever the results, I will let you know. Show you how smooth this was. Like, see how nice and creamy that is? I am going to add the whipping cream that's not going to be whipped, because I scaled it like I said, and I'm just gonna see what's gonna happen. It's a recipe testing day, and yeah. But I love the consistency. The whipping cream, I just make it a bit thinner, but I love it. I tasted it, however, and it needs a little more flavor for me, so I'm gonna add some more vanilla. So this is me adding the cream. I'm telling you guys, pray for me. I think it will be fine. There is nothing wrong with just adding a little bit of stuff. The only difference is you'll probably have to bake it just a little bit longer. But not too much, because once it's cracked, that's it. You've overbaked your cheesecake. I added more vanilla extract, and now I'm gonna just mix it in and hope for the best. Those little black spots are the vanilla bean, in case you were wondering. So I'm just going to be checking for lumps just to make sure everything is smooth. And based on this little test check, we are in the clear. I love the consistency, so I am actually happy I added the cream. So what's going to happen is I am going to pour this mixture into our prepared cheesecake base and bake it. So as you can see, it looks a little different than when I originally took it out of the oven. What I did was I took the back of a spoon and I went around and I pressed it down. That's why it forced some up, so that the bottom isn't as thick as it was, because it was really thick and it was bothering me. So I kind of just pressed it down. It'll still be a little thicker than what I want it to be, but it's a lot better than what it was. So this is the cheesecake base is partially baked. It's not fully baked. And this is our prepared mixture. So what's going to happen is I'm going to pour this into my pan and I will put it in the oven. I do know that most people do water baths, but I'm not going to do a water bath today. I'm going to see what happens without a water bath. If it cracks, then I know what I need to do. If it doesn't crack, then maybe I don't need a water bath. But we will all find out together. Just gonna pour. I believe I made a little too much batter, but that's okay. We can always find things to do. And as you can see, you see little lumps, not a lot, not no big chunks. You see these little dots, that's still lumps, but that's okay. So we're just gonna pour. Oh, maybe I made enough. We're just gonna pour until I'm satisfied of the height of the cheesecake, where it will be, and then we'll bake. So obviously this is going to be a very tall cheesecake. Maybe a little too high, but I poured it in. As you can see, it's almost at the top. I put in a little too much. I'm just going to spin it just to smooth out the top. Yes, and as you can see, clearly I added too much. I may scoop some out just to avoid the mess. But yes, all you do is spin. You could do this with cake batters as well. You just spin them and it smooths out the top without having to tap or break things or anything like that. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to scoop some out because obviously it's too full. Mistake number 15. Anyways, I'm going to scoop some out and then we're going to bake this. Okay, so as you can see, I scooped out, like you could see where the level is and where it was before. So I scooped some out. I mean, these things happen. You just have to act quick, know what you're doing. So I scooped it out. I'm going to place this in the oven. I'm going to put my oven at about 325, between 300 and 350. And I'm going to bake it to start for 20 minutes at 325. I'm going to check it. Once I check and assess, I will make an adjustment as to whether I'm going to bake it longer, turn the heat up, or reduce the heat. These are the steps that I'm going to take, and you'll see the process. The remainder of the cheesecake mixture that I have left over, I'm not going to throw it out. What I will do is I'm going to freeze some to see how well it freezes and thaws, because I'm thinking I can make something else with this. I could put it in a cookie, put it in brownies. Ooh, I could definitely put it in brownies. So I'm going to save it so that when I bake something else, something different, cookies, brownies, you name it, whatever, I'm going to test it out with this mixture that I have. It's going to be the same eggless recipe, and we'll see what happens. Really, what I wanted to say was I have a lot of mixture left over. I'm just going to show you. This is how much I have left over. So I believe this happened because I used a smaller pan to bake because I wanted to test out the pan as well. So if I had used maybe a 10-inch or even an 11-inch, my cheesecake mixture would not have been as high as it was, and I would probably use all my mixture. But because I used a 7-inch pan, this is the remainder of my mixture, and I'm gonna freeze it, and we will use it later. So I just wanted to show you, the pan's a little hot. I just have a little crack in here, so I'm not gonna put it back in the oven, but this is what the finished product looks like. It's still hot and warm. Hopefully it doesn't crack anymore because it looks really nice. It's not jiggly. I could touch it. It's firm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this cool, and then I will cut it and show you what it looks like. For the purpose of this video, you may not see it. It just depends on how long it takes to cool and set, because what I do want to do is create different fill-ins that will go on each slice or a slice. It depends on my mood. So there will be another video of me making different fill-ins for this cheesecake. But once it is set and cool, if it's ready for this video, I will post a picture or show you a video of the slice. If it's not ready for this video, I will include the final product in the fill-ins video. But this is what it looks like. It's a bit warm, yes. Hopefully the crust is cooked. I don't know, we'll find out, but this is what it looks like. Okay, so I told you guys I was gonna make the toppings for the cheesecake. So I'm just gonna do a small batch of a strawberry topping. So in the pot I have cornstarch and sugar, and here I have strawberries and water. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine the two, bring it to a boil, stir until it's thickened, and then cool it down. Okay, so I combined the strawberries and water with my cornstarch and sugar, and now we're going to put it on the stove and bring it to a boil. What I will say is I am using frozen strawberries because I didn't have any fresh ones. So we will see what the results are. As you can see, the mixture thickened. The cloudiness is gone because it was white before. So yeah, I think using whole strawberries is better, only because frozen strawberries tend to get soggy, as you can see. So what I'm going to do is I am going to mash, or just cook them out a little more so that they kind of just dissolve, and I don't have big chunks. I just have little bits and pieces of strawberries because that's what I want at the moment. I'm improvising. Okay, so this is the final results. I stirred it, and I just used my whisk for a bit just to crush it up, crush some pieces up. But this is the result. I'm happy with it only because I did not have fresh strawberries, so I'm not gonna leave super big chunks. This is okay. You get a little sauce, you get a little bite of the strawberries, and I think it will go well with the cheesecake. So there you have it. Simple, easy, quick. If the consistency is too thick for you, all you have to do is just reduce your cooking time. I just cooked it longer because I like it like this. And we're done. So for the next topping, I decided that I was gonna do cherry. So I have here are my cherries in some water, and in this pot I have cornstarch and sugar. It's a little darker than the strawberries because I added spices to this one. I added ginger and a little bit of cinnamon. I'm just messing around with flavor profiles. You can add whatever you want. I'm just testing out to see if they go together. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pour the strawberries into the cornstarch. And then I'm gonna stir. And once I'm happy with this, I'm going to put it on the stove. I also wanted to add that I reduced the amount of sugar that I used in this recipe only because the cherries are a little sweeter, so I didn't want an overly sweet topping. So in my head, everything will balance out with the cheesecake and the topping, but we'll see how this works out. So we're just going to cook it for a bit, bring it to a boil. Once the mixture thickens, we should be ready to go. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like. This is the cherry that I used. And yep, we're just going to make it thicken just a little more. I mean, right now it's a good consistency. You could take it off, let it cool, and then pour it on top of your cheesecake. But this is what we have. This is the final result. So our cherry, steam, it's still warm. Our cherry topping is finished. I just wanted to let you guys know that I used the dark sweet cherries. They were frozen. So that's the brand, not the brand, but that's the type of cherries that I use in order to make this topping. So I'm just going to transfer this into a container and I'm going to let it cool. And when I'm ready to serve my cheesecake, I will put it on top. I finally cut the cheesecake, and I just wanted to show you what I was talking about when I said that the bottom was a bit thick. Some people like it like this. It's a bit thick for me, but this is what it looks like when I cut it in half. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to slice it and top it with one of the fillings I just created, and I'll show you a final shot.